Hey, Andy here. A couple years ago, I had the opportunity to do a lot of work with Prometheus and Grafana, specifically for Docker for some customers, and really fell in love with it as an observability and monitoring kind of platform. Well, I came to find out that Pure Storage has, if you go to code.purestorage.com, we've got a bunch of code example snippets, things like that. But one of them is using the open metrics, aka Prometheus, right? So this is pretty cool. It takes you to a GitHub repo here. The Pure Storage Open Connect Pure FA Open Metrics Exporter. One interesting thing is you don't need the exporter anymore. It turns out the FlashArray Purity software that we run as of 6.7 actually exposes the Prometheus metrics for you. So you don't have to add an exporter or anything. You literally just create a target in Prometheus. So I was thinking, let's play with this. And so I've got a gist, and this is going to become a gist, but I've got a brand new VM. We're going to go ahead and deploy Docker. Here's Prom. We're going to go ahead and deploy Docker, and we are going to get it all plumbed up and connected. And as you can probably hear, I got my array behind me. Move the microphone a little bit closer just in case. So literally I've got a brand new server, nothing on it. I just spun this up a few minutes ago. Right, look at the load average 0, all that good stuff. So I've got instructions here to install Docker for Ubuntu. Let's go ahead and install Docker for Ubuntu. And wait 30 seconds. Not even 30 seconds. This is actually pretty quick. Cool. And we can do a Docker PS. Docker PS. Cool. Now it's up and running. What we're going to do is we're going to create a bunch of directories. Now, old school guy here, I like using opt. Create the directories. We're going to go and create a Docker Compose file. And this Docker Compose is actually going to stand up Prometheus and Grafana together. It's going to plumb them together with the necessary configuration files. The first configuration file is the dashboard. So we need to tell Grafana, hey, go look in this directory for dashboards. We're then going to go ahead and tell it a data source. So which data source? In this case, we're telling it to connect to Prometheus. We're going to go get, we actually have a pre-built dashboard. It's in that Open Metrics repo, and I've got a link to it in the bottom of the gist I'm going to post. But basically what we're doing is we go ahead and just get that pre-built one from GitHub. We're going to call it pure-dash.json. Next, we need to tell Prometheus what to look at. And before I paste this in, I kind of want to talk through it. A couple things to pay attention to here, right? This is how we connect Prometheus to the array. Now, the metrics API is behind a bearer token. So remember that API user token we had before? And let me flip over to my Chrome. We can log into Pure Storage. This is still, go to the settings, users and policies. This is still that same storage admin API token I created a while ago. It's the same one I've used in all my demos so far. What we're going to do is, well, we're going to leave that there. Now, here's what's important, right? The namespace has to be Pure FA. The only thing you really would need to change is the token, and then the labels, and then whatever you want to call it. So in this case, I'm calling it Pure Array FA. That's my job name, and instance is array name 01. So you could change a few. You could change those. Specifically, I believe it's going to be instance name, and then environment name, and then the namespace. Actually, the namespace stays the same. So it's the instance name, the IP, and all that. And by the way, you can use an FQDN instead of IP here, right? So let's go ahead and create the Prometheus YAML. Okay, and then all we need to do now is just cd to opt and fire up Docker Compose. And this is going to go ahead and download everything for you. Download those 2 images. You can see it's super quick. It's nice having a gig internet here at the house. And cool. Now it's running. Docker PS. I usually watch it for a second just to make sure that it's not bouncing. Looks pretty good. Okay, so in this case, I'm on IP 174. Oh, forgot to put this in here. So 174. Again, this will be in the show notes. And I forgot to put in the Prometheus port, which is 3000. And by the way, the Prometheus password, the Grafana password is in the compose, and of course I set it to my classic PA22WRD. Okay, so let's go to the first URL. And go back to Chrome. Cool, there's our targets, and we can see everything's all green. It's talking to the array. Okay. One thing to kind of note right there on the Prometheus config is we had to set it to HTTPS and then to skip the cert, because I'm not running a legit cert. It's a self-signed cert on the array itself. Obviously, you could remove this config here for Prometheus. We're not going to go super deep on Prometheus, but you can go and remove the config if you wanted to validate the HTTPS metrics. Cool. We don't need Prometheus open anymore. We can go back and let's go ahead and open up Grafana. And if everything worked according to plan, admin kappa P attitude. If everything worked according to plan, one thing we can check is we can go to connections, data sources. We can see that it's talking to Prometheus, which is great. We can go to dashboards and we should see a Pure Array flash overview. And voila, we already have stuff being created. So let's narrow this down from 3 hours to 55 minutes. We'll go ahead and hit refresh. You can see we've got data reduction, average bandwidth. But let's actually have some more fun. I'll make this bigger. Have a little more fun. Let's spin up a VM. So I still have flashers. I still have the, let's do a big one, volumes. I still have it plumbed up to the array for iSCSI. And let's make that 210 gigawatts. We'll go ahead and hit create. So this will take a sec. And just so you can keep me honest, I'll go to storage volumes. It's already created our volume at 210. And we'll get it up and running. So there's it's up and running. If we want, we can pull up the web. You can see it's booting, which is great. Come on, Journal D. Come on, Journal D. Cool. Flashers login. That means it's up and running. And there we go. We get our IP. Open up a new shell. And again, this is all this storage, df minus th. All this storage is running. See, it's 210 gigs roughly. It's all running on the array. We can do, let's do htop. It doesn't matter. We'll go back here to Grafana and we'll refresh. And we can see now that we've got bandwidth, we've got storage coming in. Now, I don't have the alerting set up, and this is where, that's why we're seeing no alerts right here in the middle. And you can see our average data reduction. Actually, let's do this. Let's see if we can clone this. I've never done this before. Let's clone this. Flash 23, why not? Cool. But like I said, I don't have the alerts coming up. And by the way, these are all the metrics that are coming out of the system. Now, if we go to this link here, this has more information on the GitHub page. And let me go to the specific page. So these are the YAML files for setting up Alert Manager, setting up Slack notification, if that's something you really are interested in, as well as some of the pod rules and alert rules, right? So there's more information here. So again, that's the Pure Storage Open Connect, Pure FA Open Metrics Exporter. But again, I didn't have to add an exporter. You don't need the exporter anymore. It's built into Purity, which is cool. Cool. We'll do this. Hit refresh. We can see the average storage, the reduction ratio. I'm not really running a whole lot. We can see I've already got our cloned VM. That was pretty quick. If we go back here to the storage, we can see we've got our 2 volumes at 210. Pretty quick, pretty simple, pretty easy. I hope this helps. By the way, this video is not just for fellow nerds, but it's for some of my coworkers that haven't really started looking at the observability stack yet and really playing with the array and the Prometheus endpoints that are provided. I may at some point add in the Portworx, because Portworx also has a similar ethos of the open metrics, Prometheus metrics API for key value, right? For all the observability. Hope this helps. Let me know if you've got any more questions. Hope you learned something. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And thanks for watching. Bye.